everybody, and welcome to Indie Corner TV. I'm your host, Jonathan Moody, and I'm here with
Marilyn Ghigliotti.
All right.
You didn't want to take that on, huh?
No, I know how to say your name.
Okay.
One of my friends was like, I met Marilyn, and I was like, Ghigliotti, it's on the camera, it's on the show.
Okay.
I said your name right.
Yeah, okay.
I always know how to say it. I think I said her name right on my radio show before, and you're like very impressed.
Yes.
You know.
When anybody can say it, without asking or pausing, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, I think I might have paused, before, but it's okay. Anyway, how did you get started in acting?
Oh gosh. So I was going through some life changes, divorce, and and just kind of finding an outlet, just trying to find something, and eventually, it's like it wasn't right away that I eventually found my way into acting, and it's like the first time that I was on stage is when I was like, yeah, I kind of like this. It's like I want to continue to do this and pursue it and see what happens, and so I don't know that I could have pictured that this is what would have resulted at that point.
No, when you got the part of Veronica in Clerks, were you like, when you read it, did you have a sinking suspicion this could go somewhere?
No, it's not like you can have any kind of suspicion or hope or anything that whatever film that you work on is going to do great or can become something, and that's talking independent-wise. Because even unless you're a superhero movie, I don't know that you can figure out what it's going to do and how well it's going to do. I don't think anybody can, because it's like there have been films where they're thinking that it's going to be a blockbuster and it's not. It tanks. So you can't go into a film anticipating something like that. You have to be present so that you can do what you want to do and do the best that you can for that.
Yeah, definitely. And were you, like, after Clerks, was there like this kind of like relief that you was getting a lot of the attention, or how was it?
It's like, where do I go? It was after Sundance or during Sundance that you go in there and it's like everything's already sold out. All the screenings that they had were sold out prior to going in there. I was flying in as there was already a screening, so I went and I got all my materials. I went to the hotel room and checked myself in, and then I'm just kind of walking around and just taking everything in, and people are stopping me and they're recognizing me, and I was like, wow. That's very weird and very surreal. And then Brian came in, I can't remember when, but he had already missed a couple of screenings and walking around, and now he had shaved his goatee, so he didn't have that, and people they're recognizing me, and I'd be like, hey, yeah, and this is Dante. They didn't recognize him because he didn't have the goatee. So that was like a very surreal experience, and so it was during that time that we're kind of like, wow, this is really going to do something. And then once Miramax bought it, we were just like, holy cow.
Yeah, that's got to be like a little bit like, oh, wow, this is like, it's done.
Yeah, we still didn't know what to expect, but we, at that point, we kind of know it's like, this is not going to be nothing.
Well, having Clerks on your resume really does help your career, though.
It does and it doesn't. Since Clerks, and once I moved out to California 18 years ago, actually this weekend, I made sure to try and diversify myself. Make sure that I was able to do some other films, and so that this way I didn't get pigeonholed as Veronica, as the 37, and all that kind of stuff. So I've done some sci-fi, I've done some horror. Funny enough, not as much comedy, but it's like I said, it helps and it doesn't. It's like I'm still out there pounding the pavement and trying to get myself known, and doing the best that I can.
Now, I do have to ask, because the character of Veronica, did you feel at all that was like I mean, obviously, I'm not going with the that way, but I'm saying like with the character being like have a boyfriend who she loves and but just wants him to get some kind of direction. And did you feel at that time like connected to the part?
I mean, I felt connected to Veronica to quite a bit of who she was, as far as being the doting girlfriend who sees so much potential for whoever it is that she's with. So I mean, I am like that, and I do like to take care of my man. So in that respect, I did connect with her quite a bit.
Definitely. What about what have you been up to like lately?
So lately, in the last couple of years, I've done some other independent films, Alien Armageddon, Starship Rising, and I'm also scheduled to work on 2 films this year. One of them looks really good, as long as nobody's waiting on funding, because there have been a couple of other films that I've been attached to, but it's like you just never know what's going to happen. So one of them is called Murder Hill, and tomorrow night I'll actually be flying up to Rome, New York, to film the trailer for Murder Hill along with Tom Proctor. So there's that, and I got some great news last night that I can't share. But it's really good, really good.
That's a bummer.
Oh, that's a teaser, isn't it?
I know. We have to find out soon.
You probably will. And then another film called Witchella that I'll be in with Bill Oberst Jr. And scheduled at some point this year as well.
Now, I know you get this question, like I remember seeing some interviews with you last year about Clerks 3 and everything, and I guess that's right now, that's just kind of tabled?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not quite too sure. It's like Kevin is still looking at making Clerks 3, which I will be in, but right now he's got Mallrats 2 and Moose Jaws that he'll be making.
Yeah, I just got to see him, meet him in person and everything. He's just, well, second time, but he's just a very personable guy, very nice, down to earth. And you wouldn't think, because of how big and famous he is, that he would be able to do that.
Well, I think because maybe he stays humbled to some degree. He knows, and it's like we know that we're kind of lucky to have what we're having. But by any means, it's like I still struggle. It's like I by no means make my living as an actor as I would like. So I still have my day job. I still freelance hair and makeup. I do whatever it is that I can to stay active and still be able to pursue. I'm not ready to hang up the hat. I still have my dream, and I'm still looking to make it. After all these years, still, it's like I'm not ready to give up.
All right. My last question, basically, how can you? Do you think of in the future doing like kind of crew work, like producing or anything like that?
Funny enough, a couple years ago, I did a reading for a script, and the person who put the reading together, she did kind of take on the film, so they were going to produce it and make it and all that kind of stuff, but it kind of fell through. I was myself looking to start directing. I've been wanting to direct for a while, but I'm like, at a certain point I said, all right, I gotta go in there and do it now and find a project. I was going to direct a little short of a thing that I kind of thought up. I'm like, okay, that's maybe good to kind of get things started. And then I found out that this was making itself available. And so I'm like, that's the script I got to direct. So right now it's in infancy stages. I got to get a budget for the film. I've got a friend who does some producing. He's got some stuff that he's put together, so I asked him to come on as producer. So gonna get the ball rolling, and hopefully within a year I can, say that I've got it made.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
I would love to see, directed by Marilyn Ghigliotti.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. How can people reach you?
I'm on social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, Marilyn Ghigliotti or That Clerks Girl, either one. And I have a website, MarilynGhigliotti.com.
All right. So people should check you out.
Yes.
You're on Twitter a lot.
Well, I got smart I connected Twitter and Facebook so that this way I'm not having to, it's like, all right, let me do this, and okay, now let me do that. It's like I connected them so it kind of takes some burden. Yes, exactly. And then Instagram connects itself to all of them as well. So
That's very smart of them to do that.
yeah.
Well, thank you so much
Thank
for coming on the
you.
show. And thank you guys for watching.